Man, John 15 as a whole, right, gives us some really great examples of what we were called to do, right? Not just personally, but professionally. And with the businesses, with the things that God has given to us to steward, right, that he's entrusted to us as business owners and as people that are in leadership. In John 15, there's a key concept, right, that we're given for anything that we put our hand to. So whether it's our business, our employees, our customers, right, anything that we have. See, the thing here is God has orchestrated everything, and he has brought and is going to bring, okay, so he's doing it and he's going to do it. He's going to bring you those groups, those customers, and those employees to your business right now. You see, what's crazy is our job in this is merely to abide in him or rest in him. That's what we're made to do. I know that's hard to understand, so let's back up a little bit. Okay? Because when we look at John 15 as a whole, or the first few verses of John 15, it really becomes clear how we are to abide and then the benefits that we're going to experience when we do. All right, so John 15, 1 and 2 in the English Standard Version states that Jesus is the true vine, that his and our Father is the vine dresser, or the gardener, the vine grower. So God is the one that provides for all of our needs. He provides for my needs, provides for my family, right? He's the one that gave me my job. He's the one that brought me to this business. He's the one that created this. He's the one that gave us our home. He's the one that gave us right now where I am in this moment in time. Our clothes, our cars, literally everything that we have or that we need, he has provided for. And it's interesting and funny because we sometimes get that really confused, don't we? We want to think that we're the provider. I know what's funny is that I looked at things like that for a long time. And it wasn't truly until I really surrendered the thought of the who, right? Who was that provider? That I really truly found peace in the understanding and in the relation to provision in my life. Because see, I was able finally to understand that I didn't have to strive, right, to make ends meet. I didn't have to strive to have more than enough. See, I could go to my Father and I could say to him, these are my needs. This is what we need. And I was finally able to understand really what abundance means. And I was able to experience what that means and be able to live freely and then to be able to freely give and approach things with open hands and understanding that things are going to come in and go out. But I have open hands here. And because it helped, because I understood, right? Okay, so I understood then who freely gave it to me, that I should also freely give it away. In verse 2, Jesus says, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes it, that it may bear more fruit. Okay? So there's a key takeaway here that is super profound. And it's one of the main concepts here that the vine dresser or the gardener's job, it actually is to make sure that the vine bears fruit. Okay? And this is what it took me a long time to understand this, because I think we get this wrong, is that most of us don't understand how a vine works. And I didn't either until I did some research. And so a grapevine, okay, which is what this reference is a very highly productive plant in the right season. But by pruning that vine and actually removing things, in effect, what we're doing is we're actually telling each plant how many bunches of grapes that we want it to produce in the coming season. See, the pruning process, this is crazy, right? The pruning process is not for now. It's for the future. So God pruning us right now is for future abundance, okay? So when a vine dresser prunes a grapevine, right, they may be able to have 200 to 300 buds, right, which are capable of producing fruit. And if the vine is left unpruned, okay, the number of grape clusters or those buds would actually be excessive. And they wouldn't actually produce as much because they have too many buds. So the fact that it's unpruned is actually a bad thing, right? So it needs to be pruned. So If it was unpruned, then the grapevine would be unable to ripen, right, large crops, or even sustain adequate growth, which is fascinating. So the purpose of pruning, right, is to obtain the maximum yield of grapes, right, that are of a high quality, and to allow adequate vegetation, so the leaves and things, right, the branches, to grow for the following season, right? Pruning is to maximize yield. If it isn't, then the vine will expend all of its energy trying to grow all of these branches and things like that, right? And it's going to eventually die without producing any fruit. I'm going to say that again. If a vine isn't pruned, it will expend all of its energy trying to grow branches and will eventually die without producing any fruit. That's fascinating to me, right? Imagine if you have everything that you possibly could need, all of the right pieces, soil, right, rain, materials, nutrients, nourishment, all these things, right? All this stuff, you're given all of it. And we strive and strive and strive, and we end up nowhere with nothing at the end. How frustrating would that be? Yet I feel like so oftentimes that's exactly where we are. I know that's where I've been at times, right? No fruit, no reward, no profit. All this energy, all this time, all this emotion, all of these parts of myself that I've given, and I'm left with nothing to show for it. Because I didn't allow myself to be pruned, and I didn't allow the things that needed to be cut off to be cut off. So if we're going to be like the vine and we want to produce, our production is going to come from previous seasons of growth and that pruning process through that.